Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. We're delayed again because we're clearly technically inept. But more importantly, I'm Katrina Collier. I speak, train and write about the use of social media for recruitment, and I'm joined by the gorgeous Audra Knight, who is an employer branding genius, nerd, guru, whatever we call her this week. I'm very excited to finally, when we finally got the text sorted, talk to Todd Davis from Amazon, if I've got that right. And we're going to talk about Facebook.
I cannot confirm nor deny that I work for Amazon, but
got it. So Todd, I got the pleasure of meeting you and seeing you speak at HireConf, which was a really cool event. But for people that maybe don't know your really exciting background and all the cool stuff you've done, can you give us a little background?
Yeah, it was great to share guacamole with you. That was a nice thing in New York. We go to New York and we go to a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
But it's all good. No, it was good. It was really good. So I've been in staffing, recruiting, sourcing for, I would say, gosh, it's coming up on 17 years with a mix of agency and corporate and consulting background. Mainly been known for my sourcing, even though I do full cycle recruiting as well. I kind of a jack of all trades. I've worked for Google, Yahoo, Starbucks, and others throughout my career. And as you mentioned, I cannot confirm nor deny that I work for Amazon currently, doing senior engineering recruiting only. So, and recently moved to the Phoenix area from Seattle because I got tired of the rain. I need sun up here, you know.
So it's true, it does rain there all the time then? I just
Seattle?
thought that was...
completely, all the time.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
That's all I hear about London all the time, and it's not true, so it's very frustrating. Because everyone will go, it rains here all the time. It's like, it really doesn't. So.
No, it does in Seattle. We got to the point to where we had to get out, and our daughter and 4 of our grandkids moved down here, so we followed them to the sunshine.
Nice.
Sounds great. Sounds great. So because we're doing the subject of Facebook recruiting today, or sourcing, or stalking. I loved actually what Audra wrote. So we were both at the Social Recruiting Strategies Conference in January in San Francisco. And there was so much resistance, right, Audra, against the Facebook. We can't go to Facebook. It's so creepy. It's rah, rah, rah. So I actually thought that might be a nice way to start. Kind of like, clearly you love using Facebook. So why is it you don't think that, it's personal space and it's creepy? And
well, as long as you don't start off your message requests to those people with, I love the pictures of your kids playing soccer, I think you're going to be okay. Or, man, you look really great in that dress. No, it's the thing, and that could be for men or women. Anyways.
Yeah, it's all about the men and their dresses.
Yeah, so, the thing with Facebook is that if you are a sourcer, then you should go to where, what's really crazy is like, you don't know where to look. And I'm looking at you, I'm looking at the camera.
Oh, here,
I will get over this in a minute.
Layout, but I think I'll lose your head.
As long as I don't turn, like maybe if I just face the other direct, no, that would be really awkward.
How about that? Is that better?
Well, now I don't know which way to look, like left or right. But anyways, or if I hide behind like one of them, like I'll hide behind Audra and half my head.
I love how tiny we are. Awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't have to put any makeup on. No one can tell. It's so small.
I put on makeup this morning. I was trying to knock down the shine. But anyways, so as sourcers, what we should be doing is going to where the most data is, right? I mean, but we've been sold a bill of goods that, and rightfully so. I mean, I think the marketing team for sites that are business focused. See, I'm trying not to get myself in trouble, and I tend to do that. We've been told that one's for business and one is for social, and we ignore the fact of like degraded data within one and how it's overworked and it's not growing and response rates are down. And then we look at the other with billions of pieces of data, but then we're like, no, we can't do that. And so it's a mindset that people have in terms of how they're approaching social media.
So have you ever once, when you've sent one of those message requests and had somebody come back like, how dare you? Because I would have thought if the wording's right that nobody would come back with a how dare you.
No, I think most people will be caught off guard anyways, and so they're going to be curious as to what what's going on in terms of the message requests coming in. And honestly, it's still at the point where some may get filtered and people may not pick up on them, but it's still a great thing. I mean, you could either choose to pay however much money to send a message to someone on another site, or you could do this for free and really hone your craft, or figure out how you can contact those people by using other tools and stuff I think you teach, which I hear by reputation you're amazing. and and by reputation meaning, I need to get out and see you or take one of your classes. But there are other ways that you can actually, develop or, get other people's contact information.
Yeah.
If you can't do that nowadays, if you call yourself a sorcerer and can't do that, you're not a sorcerer. So
yeah. I must admit, I do die a little death every time I see a sorcerer asking one of the groups, how do I get, what tools can I use to get email addresses? Because I just think, can you also please use the tools, like you were saying, in a way, to find out the personal information to use in the conversation. And I don't mean, I saw the photo of you in your dress, but more, okay, we've got flexible hours. And I must say this practically every show, use that information to be human and in the conversation. So it sounds like you agree with me in that respect.
We've taken the human out of human resources. We've taken the connection out of recruiting. We've got sorcerers coming into the field now to where they feel like you're a sorcerer if you okay, so here's a little story, and I'm a big story guy, and I promise it'll be short. So we were interviewing a sorcerer for a position at some company, and I won't say which one. Never confirmed, nor did I. But when asked how to, to get up on the whiteboard and kind of draw out how you're doing your sourcing or how you develop a string, they actually drew a picture of a certain site. Okay, it was LinkedIn. And they showed how they filled in the fields and how they did their search that way. I'm like, holy crap, what's going on? I mean, we've gone from that is acceptable for how a sorcerer is defined, and the curiosity's gone, the skills are gone, and now we just have this society where or this group or people, sorcerers that are not sorcerers, they're second-rate marketers that know how to use tools. And it's really unfortunate. Yeah. And I look forward to SourceCon in the fall teaching the fundamentals track. I'm calling it Fun with Fundamentals. I'm a fundamentalist, and I look forward to teaching that and maybe raising some right at some point in time.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. Because my SourceCon is all about being human and being curious and using it in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Similar kind of thing.
Just not curious enough to delve into their pictures on Facebook and
or anywhere else for that matter. You've got to. I just think the best sources are curious, and we discussed that last time when we were talking about hiring sources.
Well, do you think that's really bad? I mean, it is. If they've left it public, it's public information. Do you think it's really terrible to look at their pictures?
Well, if you're signing into Facebook, okay, so let's talk about what's public and what's not public. So if you X-ray Facebook, you'll get some information back or whatever that's been made public within their settings. But if you log in and you're behind that password protected thing and you're looking at their stuff, it kind of gets into a gray area, right? I mean, you're kind of now you're taking those steps towards whatever you're doing. But yeah,
I still think, top right, little padlock. Oh, actually, it's not a padlock anymore. They've changed the thing. But, they're constantly giving you security updates and telling you what is public and what is private. I think it's up to the individual to lock stuff down. It's exactly the same for recruiters. When I teach recruiters, it's all, hey, you guys are being looked at. So what are you sharing that's putting people off coming to join your company?
Oh, crap. That reminds me. Let me go check your Facebook page real quick. No, I'm so boring. It's not even funny. So, but
mine's pretty much of a muchness. But I think it's so great now that you can actually create quite a little personal brand on there, which I think is important as well. But, we are being looked at. You've got an unusual name like mine. You're going to be found really, really easily. So Audra will be found easily as well, I assume.
Yeah.
You've got to get rid of those banned drinking photos, Audra.
Yeah.
There's nothing
I was doing a little bit of research last night, watching maybe some SourceCon Anaheim 2017 interviews and those sorts of things, and trying to get to know you guys a little bit better. So, I mean, there's so much data out there. We're not one-dimensional. We're not static anymore. We have such a huge footprint out there. And, the argument now is oh, it's easy to find people. Now it's the next step after that. And I kind of counter that. I think it's hard to find the right people. I mean, you can go out and just do large pools of data from Facebook or from other things, but really having the skills to dive in and find the correct people, and then having the skills to contact and work those people and get them into process and get them to the point to where they're taking a seat in your organization is a whole nother ball game. So
yeah, and I think that's why I see it all going back full circle, back to the telephone. Of like, find the people, find out information about them, and just pick the phone up so that you do understand more about them. Because there'll be so much stuff that they won't be sharing. Because we all know it's a bit of a show reel.
Yeah, I mean, like there's Chrome extensions where you can actually, highlight the person. If you do I'm not going to give away too much. I promise. I made a promise. I'm not going to do that because I'm big about helping and giving stuff away. But there are Chrome extensions where you could highlight the company and pull up their company information, which has the number. Call in. If you're not comfortable calling in, like during business hours, practice the art of leaving compelling messages and learn to work through the phone directory and those sorts of things. But there's no excuse in this day and age where we can't reach people at some point in time, or in some manner.
People. We've just got lazy and think an email or a message is acceptable. But go back 10 years, we used to pick the phone up. Like it was what a good recruiter did.
And I wish we could actually put these little asterisks and make sure I'm not going to get myself in trouble. But I would say a certain site has been the opiate for the masses, meaning that we've been lulled into this sense of, give me, as opposed to actually going out and doing. It's like we can search for people and send all these mass spam. Contact. No, I'm not going to say. I can't say that. I can't.
You can say LinkedIn to your heart's content.
No,
I get into trouble for the blog post I wrote. You will be fine. And you did download your connections before the show, right?
So if anybody wants to give me a job after this, in case LinkedIn's,
I really don't see why LinkedIn would have any.
And I think I use Facebook with LinkedIn. I mean, not some of those extensions, which I'm sure you teach. If you feel more comfortable in-mailing people, then you can highlight a name in Facebook and then search for it on LinkedIn, and then use your, and you can, some of those tools you can do for basic or, for your corporate one, and you can in-mail people all you want. I mean, it depends.
Aaron has just done thought, I love this, Katrina, he doesn't know how to be blunt with us. You can be as blunt as you like with us. You will not get into trouble with anybody here.
You know how much trouble I've been in between like some of the stuff I said at the Hire conference and SourceCon All-Stars and all that sort of thing. I've just got to, I got to be a little bit careful
with LinkedIn themselves, or because I think they've changed a little bit of late, because I wrote quite a blog rant in the middle of December, never thinking anybody would read it, and it went nuts. And that led to quite several calls that Stacey Zapar, Jennifer McClure, Shannon Pritchett, and myself have been on. And they actually have made some changes on the back of that, which really quite shocked all of us. And they didn't amazingly close my account because I was pretty blunt. So I actually think they've realized that they have a problem.
I hope they have. They have so much potential, which sounds weird to say at this stage in the game, but it's like if they could I think it's interesting. You're right. I mean, is it too late to make these changes? And I think it's great while that's going on. There's so many great things like with Facebook and other things that we should be putting our time towards, for sure.
Yeah. So what's the most creative way you've got without saying tools? Because I get this all the time. Oh, but nobody puts their bios on there. So what's your most creative way? I mean, have you gone and done the usual thing like found someone via groups, or have you done any pay-per-click advertising? Much of that's not really sourcing, but I'm just curious.
Okay, so now we could get into defining sourcing if we want, right? I mean, what is the actual profile of a sourcer in 2017, 2018? And if you're learning to use Facebook advertising, which the person to my over here on the screen is more the expert. It's like left, right, no, right, left. But it's I think that's part of it as well. But now I forgot the original question. Most creative. Just like
if you haven't got, I don't know, a bio filled out, what have you thought of to get around?
Oh yeah. So that's where I was. What was interesting when you say that, because I hear that all the time. Like I can't use Facebook because there's not enough information on the person, and I just it's because. If you're quality and you're good at what you do in terms of sourcing, you realize, so I took my AIRS certification in the 90s. I was like in the 5th class. I'm showing my age. Anyways, but, it talked about how one of the cool things was to peel back the URL to get to additional information. Well, nowadays it's just gone to another level in terms of peeling back, quote, the URL. It's like you can start with a search in Facebook by company, by title, by location, by education, by sex, whatever you want to do. It's pretty robust.
Right. Yeah.
And then you can use other tools to really build out a robust profile of that in less than 4 clicks if you know what you're doing. So there's no excuse not to tap the largest data reserve that's out there. It's just funny to me because recruiters have, again, we have like, dumbed down sourcing to the point to where, like, if you can't go to one site, do a search, have all the information you need, and then send it over. And by the way, I think people are pretty decent, but I'd be doing this, but I think it'd be really interesting to see how much data inside, say, a LinkedIn on those profiles has been updated on a consistent and regular basis. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So
I was doing this yesterday, so I was teaching some technical recruitment, and of course, starting with the GitHub, Stack Overflows, etc., using all the tools to go back. And I'm like, we get back to LinkedIn, and there's like nothing on the profile, of course, because they're developers and they're running away. I always show that brilliant meme with the pirate running away. So, developer updated LinkedIn profile, run for the hills. But it was, but even then, on some of the technical sites where they're even being on active, they haven't updated it. So you're right. It's just that if you're curious, then it's really not such an issue.
Yeah, and you're right in terms of the curiosity, but it's also being, what I've always said, and I was thinking about it this morning when I was getting my coffee. It's, that I looked at sourcing, and I used to say, when I pulled my lists, and this is back a number of years ago, and I built out these Excel spreadsheets with names and everything, it was art. It was a craft, and it was something that was special. And nowadays it's been so, degraded and diluted that, it's no longer an art or a craft, and it's really, really sad. But you're right. It starts with curiosity. It starts with honing your craft, getting to be the best at what you do, and I know nowadays recruiting has changed where our time is especially with mine. I don't have a lot of time to be curious. We've got full-time jobs, we've got things in the evenings, we've got family, those sorts of things. Yeah. I'm not single anymore where I can sit down with with some pop and sit here and source till like 3 o'clock in the morning, but you can still hone your craft, and people just aren't doing it,
I think there are enough really good tools out there, though, that it doesn't need to take all day. It's just a case of being curious enough to click your links and to read something and then to use that in that conversation.
Can we talk about tools? And I'm talking about actually not people.
I think the only tools I have the real issue with are the ones that just immediately give contact details without giving any context to it. That's why I was saying, don't give them all away, because I just don't want any more friggin' spam. Well, not quite the F-bomb, just close.
What's really interesting too, and this is another one of my soapbox things, is that in God bless them, love them, all these conferences and stuff, to where and Dean DaCosta and I got into a heated thing a while back, a discussion when I said, we're overrun with tools, but we don't teach how to use them, when to use them, and such. And I still say that it's like, if there's another freaking blog post about here are the top excellent tools for blah, 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 and you've got these young sourcers or young recruiters like, oh, this is going to save my recruiting, but you don't tell them how to use it. You don't have any idea about sourcing methodology or anything along those lines. You're creating such a mess and doing a disservice to the recruiting and sourcing community. And I think tools are great. I geek out over them too, and I love them, but we also have to be really diligent in showing people how to use them,
You will love one of the slides that's in my presentation for SourceCon. Sorry, whoever's going, and I'm giving it away, but it's the piano that's sitting upstairs that I don't know how to use, and it takes up 2/3 of the sitting room, and it is the most amazing thing, boudoir grand piano. It's the same as what you're talking about. They have all these tools that don't know what to do with them, so they can't make music on it.
Yeah, but then it makes you look, it gives a certain perception to people, right? I mean, having the grand piano in your living room, it gives a perception like...
No, it's just an open dust collector.
But like, if you walk in and like your tool, your toolbar, and you've got all those things in Chrome, it looks really packed and looks amazing unless you're using one to organize all of them. You look really important, right? I mean, I talk about it at conferences all the time. Like, People, and you and I maybe can have a discussion offline about this, but URL manipulation in Facebook, talking about how do you manipulate the URL to get to different search results. Who the heck has time to do that? I don't have time to do that, and people are teaching that. It's just, and the same thing with tools. It's like you share all this stuff, and it makes you look really important, and we'll probably get you to speak, at other conferences because you look really, really smart. But in the end, does it really help people? And I would argue no. A lot of these tools and techniques don't help people or organizations or make new hires. If you can do this, somebody out there get me the metrics and hire numbers for how many hires were made from URL manipulation, and then I'll be on board.
So Christopher Kurtz has written here, 22,000 VC investments in 2016 in HR recruiting related tools. Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. It'd be great to take that money and feed some homeless people or something. How about that?
Alan's like, Alan Whitford, pick the phone up. Oh, I'm so with you, Alan. Old school. Bring it on. Todd is very manipulative. Gee, Jeremy loves you. Bless him. I'm sure that's a compliment somehow. Hi, Michael.
URL manipulation. I don't manipulate too many things, I don't think.
No. So, but are you saying you are a full-time sourcer, or are you now a recruiter? So you do more than just do the initial contact?
So here's another thing which is going to tick a lot of people off, right? Is that I feel like that sourcers can recruit, but recruiters can't go into sourcing.
I like that.
Okay.
So because I don't, I've sat in, meetings where we're talking about hiring a sourcer or a recruiter, and they're like, well, they can learn sourcing. I'm like, really? They're going to ramp up that quick, and they can, okay, so give them a LinkedIn license and let them go, and we'll see what happens. But so for me personally, I'm kind of the Swiss Army knife. I close candidates at a very high level. I source candidates. I mentor sourcers where I am. I screen candidates. And I know that there's this argument that maybe separate but equal. And honestly, where I am currently, which I can not confirm nor deny, we do have separated roles of sourcer and recruiter, and that work with the clients and those sorts of things. But I fall somewhere in the middle of all that. So, yeah.
I was just curious with the time, when you were saying you don't have time to do a lot of this stuff. It's because it really is the sources that just sit all day and just source, isn't it? That shouldn't have an excuse of the time. But if you're having to do the rest of it.
Well, so I think it's okay. So I know I've spoken to a lot of sourcers like, oh, all I do is source and pull leads lists. And I'm like, okay, I can see some value in that. But I feel like I would like to encourage the ones that are just doing sourcing to really expand on what they're doing and have those candidate conversations, because it's one, going to make you more money eventually by expanding your skill sets, and two, it's just good to do to get out of that kind of tunnel vision. And also conversations with candidates leads to new sourcing ideas. Other things come up if you're doing it right. So
are some sourcers though just not good with people, and maybe they should just stick with sourcing? Or do you think you can just learn that?
I think you can learn that. I think I'm an introvert to a large degree. Like some of those candidate interactions are a little bit difficult, and especially if we're honest, working with senior engineers it's not going to be like, crack a beer and we're going to have a great conversation. It's going to be kind of awkward at times, right? I mean, but I think that it's worth the time and worth the risk personally, to do that. And I see that all the time, like, oh, I'm an introvert. I'm this. I'm like, no, you're a sourcer. Be good at what you do, get over that. It's, push yourself beyond your limits, get good at what you do, and be the best in all those areas. And no one can mess with you after that.
Okay, so that's interesting. Erin has written, the best recruiters I think are introverts or ambiverts. So I'm actually an ambivert. Everyone thinks I'm an extrovert. So I sit in the middle. Smack bang. So I could not source all day. I would go nuts. That's why it's good for me to have the recruitment. I think sources also, on top of being curious, are quite data driven, aren't they? And quite focused on the target. Whereas, I don't know.
Personally, for me, I'm non-denominational. I grew up Southern Baptist, and that would.
Does that help?
I had no idea, like some of those things, like an introvert or
introvert, extrovert, ambivert, straight in the middle.
Is it okay?
I'm an Aries.
Yes.
Ambiverts can be really, really, really loud and the middle of the party, but they have to then go really quiet.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. That sounds very painful.
It's not. It's really cool.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm smack in the middle. And just nobody believes me.
I believe, personally, right now, you and I tracking, I believe you. I'm right there with you, and I support
Kath and Kim? I'm going to send you a Kath and Kim video.
I,
Which is look at me, look at me, look at me, and you'll get why I thought that was very funny what you just did.
Okay.
You have to be Australian, so.
Okay. Well, then I need to go figure out what I am. I
don't think it matters as long as you enjoy what you do.
That's true. I'm enjoying this. This is a lot of fun.
They're completely going off nuts off the side.
It's a transtrovert. I like that.
I don't know. Say so, Jeremy here. He hasn't been for a while. See, we've made an effort. We've come back to Facebook. We just need to try and get on a half an hour before the show's meant to start, so we're ready on the hour. we lost 15 whole minutes. It's kind of crazy.
Oh, sorry. I don't know
what was going on. So
I tend to derail things pretty quickly. I'm sorry.
No, it's all cool. It's all cool. So here you go. This is a question for you. Have you sent any video message requests? Because I think they're the coolest.
Me personally, or no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you personally.
No, I mean like business-wise. No, I haven't. Nobody wants to see this. First thing of like,
I got a job for you.
Really
good job, pays well.
No, I don't.
I always think there's that thing of who's going to resist clicking play. And if you send a really short, sharp video, just 20 seconons.
Look, if I get a video,
I'm forever telling my clients to do that. I think it's fun.
If I get a video from someone I don't know, I'm like, ooh, let me click this. Because I don't know about you, but like the people that kind of orbit me, I'm like, even the people I know that I call friends, I'm not click. A friend of mine like texted me a video link, and I'm like, no way, I'm not touching that. I'm just not doing it.
Because they know you. Erin's written video method sounds kinky.
All right, now we're going down to, I got to go. No, I'm just kidding. It's, I think it's, I don't know, video messages. I mean, seriously, maybe if I did like sock puppets or something, as opposed to my face in the video message, I don't know. I think it might work. I just haven't done it,
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I love what Nick's written here. Nick, I can't speak this afternoon. Nick Textera. Sorry, Nick, it's been one of those weeks. Video done badly is so crass. I just got one for my potential new car now. Yeah, okay, that wasn't quite what I meant. But I think it just depends what field you're in and how bubbly you are. And I don't know. I just think compared to a message request where, particularly if you write hi, comma, enter, like all they get is hi. Whereas the actual hi first name, they don't see the whole message. So therefore, at least if it's a video, they're going to be more inclined to click in and have a look. I don't know.
Yeah, but if it's a message request, it's coming from somebody that you're not friends with. And then in this day and age of, maybe it's just because I'm getting old and jaded. I'm like, man, I don't want to see that because it's going to be butt cheeks or something. And I don't want to see any of that.
Yeah, because they'll see the freeze frame of your face. So they'll see it's the face.
Or something.
Are you?
I hope
it's this band.
I wonder if it's different for younger generations. I don't know.
Yeah, I must admit it was younger clients that got quite excited about it.
Yeah, and it may work. I mean, and I think that it's good to try those sorts of things. And as a sourcer, like you're saying, learn and be curious. You should try these things and measure. And this is the important thing: try things, measure them for success, and then either accept or move on. And try it. That's all I can say. This is fun, guys. I'm sorry. Would you say I have a bubbly personality? That would be good.
Yeah.
I could say I'm bubbly.
No comment.
Now, when you do reach out to people, if you just decide to go with Facebook Messenger, does it end up in that, do people get it, or does it end up in that kind of weird place where they don't get the message?
So, so they change that, to where up in the, it will show that you have a message request. Some are filtered out, honestly. You can actually end up, in your netherland or whatever. But usually if they're not filtered out and they show up, they'll show up underneath, you have a message and it would say a message request. But I still think it's worth it. I still think it's definitely a good thing to do, and
I wouldn't necessarily go that as the first route to getting in touch with them. It would always be phone first, personal email second, anything else, and then a Facebook message request. Yeah. And I think that's something to be clear on. Yeah, Ulu Neutral. Have not seen this video app before from Jim Stroud. I'm not meaning a video app. I'm meaning you can just literally send a video.
So that's interesting. So you said that you wanted to be explicit in that. Like, you think that they shouldn't do the message request first. They should reach out other ways.
I mean, if you're going to send a Facebook message request, you definitely need to have made sure that you look professional in your profile, because if they go look at you first before they read the message, because they can accept it without it showing. So yeah, you want to make sure you look professional. I had somebody who asked me the other day, who will remain nameless, why his message requests aren't working, and I came straight on private message back to him and went, because of your profile picture, because it looked like it would be one of those naughty pictures you were talking about earlier, because he wasn't looking professional. He just wasn't looking at it. It was just too relaxed. But no, I think that, I don't know. I have no problem with people using it to find people, but I still think phone is always the best way.
And I guess the next question is do we create, and I'm not trying to give stuff away, I want to keep the secret sauce in the refrigerator to a certain degree, but do you use your personal, or do you create a whole nother profile?
I'd use mine, but
okay.
Mine is already locked down, and I share stuff publicly. I intentionally want to share publicly that represents me well. But to be honest, like you said, you said yourself, I'm boring. I'm probably boring as well. You don't get that much that's of concern in my actual profile.
No, I think your Zumba videos, or whatever those exercise videos are amazing. You're doing a great job.
This girl is so not going to do that. Erin, on the other hand.
Oh, yes.
Erin is freaking awesome at that. But yeah, not this one. No, couldn't be bothered.
I love the comments at the bottom now. Sex sells. Yeah. Can't get over the butt thing. Thanks. This is not how I thought it was going to go this morning.
So Stuart, who's written here, never mix business with pleasure. I mean,
I disagree.
It's really quite interesting, because Stuart and I met when I was talking to him about a very senior IT program manager role way back in the day, and we are now Facebook friends and chat a lot on Facebook. So that's kind of strange. We've definitely mixed business with pleasure. We've been out to dinner and all sorts. So I don't know what he's talking about. And actually, a lot of my real friends, as opposed to some of the industry friends, are also from back in the days when I was doing IT recruitment. So lots of people did go to Facebook because it's a lovely little network and very social. So interesting. There's a grey one. I'll sort him out later. Post it. Oh no, Alan, he's running away.
It's interesting how our personal and professional lives bleed into one another in social media. Recently I used my sourcing skills to a large extent to find my biological family, because I'm adopted, and actually I think my first cousin may be watching this, but we were able to connect, and so now it all bleeds in together on social media, but then also through sourcing and those sorts of things. So it's pretty amazing. So see, if you learn how to source, it's just not for recruiting. You can do lots of cool things.
But I like it as well, because my family's on the other side of the world, so it makes it very easy. And I'm not close to my nephews. I'm the world's worst aunt. But actually, via Instagram and via Facebook, at least I sort of see a presence. I see something about them. So I completely agree with you. And that, the personality.
But then you have your business people too. Like I meet at a conference, and they want to, be friends on Facebook, and I'm like, okay, so it's kind of interesting. It's something that I'm really thinking about lately, is how do I manage all those things, and how it's
Facebook list.
Yeah, nice cat.
Yeah, that's Blab Cat from when we used to have Blab. Poor Blab. Facebook lists. I've got a great little video if you haven't, or if you don't know how to use them, but I mean, I'm sure you do. You're inquisitive enough to work that out. But the Facebook lists are amazing. So at least you can keep in touch with certain people more and share stuff with just certain people.
Yeah.
Like not everyone's going to want to know, oh, Katrina's written a blog or whatever. My industry colleagues, my actual friends from school, for example, probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Facebook actually knows that. When I post a work thing, they totally just show it to more work people. They figured out who's going to like it somehow right away.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for those things. If not, then it would have to be, manually moving people over to another page or something like that. So far it's good, and I think it works out pretty well. I just, I don't know. It's an interesting topic because maybe some of the business people are going to be interested, in me taking a hike on a trail here in Arizona or something, but then do I want to share that? Do I not want to share that? You know, and some of my family might be interested to actually see how I get on videos like this and bring up topics that are inappropriate and other things along those lines. So it kind of all bleeds in together. Yeah,
There's been no sparing.
Yeah.
Thought about doing 2 profiles and starting just a work one for Facebook, or no?
So I do have one. It's the candidate generator, where I post all work stuff, and then for my personal one. But the reason that I let business people on my personal one is because, like you and I, we shared guacamole and had a good conversation. We photobombed their table, and it was awesome. So
that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and we kind of became friends to a certain extent. So it's like, okay, well, I'd like to keep you in my personal space. So that's on the.
And I think because the other one that we used to use that you would like to remain nameless about has died. It used to be amazing for that, and it's not. So therefore, it's just easier to pop people on a list in Facebook and keep in touch with them there. It's easier.
Yeah, and
there's always the unfollow button.
Yeah. We'll see what the future holds, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, people need to be spending time on Facebook and really learning about it. And, and one of the things that I'll be talking about, I don't know if I can say it or not, but I'm doing stuff around, I don't know if you use the mobile app much for sourcing, but when you join a group or something along those lines, you have the new Discover People section in here, which, you can't say it, but the Discover People thing, which is really great. You can actually go into one of your groups and it will automatically start sorting what members are near you or those sorts of things. And you'll be able to look at their profiles and swipe through. So there's some really cool stuff coming for recruiting. Yeah. And, the Discover People thing is a little bit creepy, but it's going to be really beneficial. So
I love Facebook groups. I learned so much, and I found my current job on a Facebook group.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're good, aren't they? So what do you think of the new jobs tab then? Have you had a play?
Yeah, so I may or may not be doing something with that pretty soon. But here's the thing again, is like everyone's like, oh, there's jobs. You can post jobs on Facebook. And I'm like, and what really gets me, and it's just between the three of us, is that these are sourcers that are talking about it in recent videos. You could source on here long before this. I mean, Facebook jobs, it's like, it's like, okay, great. I mean, but it's
had a posted jobs there for years. What's wrong with you people?
I'm just saying, like, you're saying I could post a job, and then there's billions of people you can search, right? And you can bring out your custom list. And I'm like, okay, and I think that it's going to get better, like anything else, or go away. So it's going to be one of the two. Either they're going to enhance it, or it's going to die an ugly death. But that won't change the fact that you can still recruit a ton of people off of Facebook.
Exactly. Well, and as Audra pointed out in your great blog post, you can't do targeted enough pay-per-click or promoted post, can you, when you use it? So it's kind of pointless.
No, you have to do that.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, they're free. Post them, they're free. Yes, they are, but no one's ever going to see them. So you have to pay to push them out, so they're not free at all. And
but when you do that, you don't have all of the groovy categories.
You have a lot.
Yeah. So when you want to do that, you're trying to up your diversity, you can't, because it won't let you put some of those categories in.
Yep.
And this isn't really my space, and it's more her space, but it's like when you start thinking about that, why do you even do a job posting and just do, a regular advertising campaign?
Which is what I do already. And you have so many more options, more tracking.
Right.
You don't have an ATS, I think, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. So, I think it's good that they did this from the standpoint it starts the conversation about recruiting on Facebook. I just think in the end, they've got to make some changes or something. And I have to think, and this is just me, like this is a precursor to something larger. Like it's the kind of the first sign on the horizon of some changes that are going to come. And maybe that shift, which I've always thought was going to happen, is going to happen to where we move over to Facebook in some capacity. So I mean, if you think, I mean, the sheer number that's in there, even if people have to opt into some sort of more business related kind of offering, in maybe not everybody does it, but there's still going to be a huge amount of people that would opt into something along those lines. You know, especially if they start their job search or something along those lines. But we'll see what the future holds. It's going to be interesting.
It's interesting because also the way we all embrace it, we're so far ahead of the curve. I mean, I still get gobsmacked by some of the questions and the resistance that I get. So speaking in Athens on Tuesday, and you know, it was all, oh, well, this is all well and good. And I mean, I was talking generally social recruiting, but I've got 1,000 job applicants, and I'm thinking, maybe you shouldn't advertise and do some more targeted sourcing or some targeted pay-per-click. Or be a little bit more specific than spending hours. Who has the time to go through 1,000 applications? I'd rather shoot myself than do that.
Yeah.
So, but then I was so almost like internally, because I obviously didn't want to show it, but shaking my head thinking, you don't want to change. You're too fearful of the change to try something different. So I think we've got a long way to go.
Well, I think, you know, if you're risk adverse and you're a sourcer, then that's a bad combination, right? I mean, you got to take some chances. And, you know, I do T-shirts and no one ever buys them, but, you know, I had one that said, make sourcing dangerous again, you know, and
I bought that. Did you do a girly one?
What? No, well,
I don't want a boy's one. I'll have a girl's one. No problem.
Well, it had a skull with a bandana over the face, and I thought it was rock and roll. But see, I know Audra likes.
I want a chick version, please.
Okay. Okay, I'll do it in pink or something.
No, high neck. Girl version. Audra knows what I mean.
But we got to make sourcing dangerous again in the sense of not having any fear about trying things that are different, you know, that are outside of our box, you know. And I think, you know, honestly, I'm not going to blame all the sources and recruiters. We live in a culture with, if you work for a large company or some of those sorts of things, where we just have demands that are coming down from the top that kind of diminish our ability to do those things. Like we're working towards certain goals and metrics, and we're having to do certain things, and it's hard to do. But I would, all those younger sourcers out there getting started, like the ones I mentor right now at my company, is like, you know, try it, be dangerous for a little bit, and, you know, see what works. Yeah,
you might find someone great.
Yeah.
So what is your, like, sort of, because we're coming to the end, I'm sorry we lost some minutes at the beginning, but what would be your number one piece of advice that you give to those young ones coming through?
Good question.
What's the first thing?
The first thing that I give to them is know your sourcing methodology. And before you start doing any tools, before you start doing anything in terms of getting out there, understand how you source, why you're sourcing, what you're using, and how you organize your sourcing. Instead of just jumping into it, and have a good methodology. It's a foundation for the future that will carry out through your whole career. So I think that's the most important thing to do.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people need to take a step back.
Yeah.
So that sounds great. I've gone blurry. I said take a step back and I blurred off the screen.
I'm glad that was you. I thought that was me. I was like, oh boy.
No. She's done it again. She's killed a webcam. Told you it's lucky I'm small. It's Friday.
There's actually whiskey in his cup.
Probably. It's Friday. Do what you wish. Whatever gets more recruits in, right?
I wish. They put the kibosh on all that stuff for me. So this is the leaner, meaner.
Healthy you.
Yeah, healthy me. So yeah, but
all important.
I'll be back in full
strength. Are you there next week, or you're not until fall?
Not until fall. I've been put on the bench with some health issues, and so I've been at the Mayo Clinic here and going through tests this week and those sorts of things. But I'll be back up and running here pretty soon. So yeah, but I'll be there in the fall.
Stream so I can see the fall one, because I'm not going to get to be there again.
I wanted to be there to see you know, and it's not too terrible of a drive from where I am to get over there, but you know, maybe something will happen and I'll get over that direction.
There should be some sneaky streaming. That's what should be going on. Anyway, thank you, Todd. Did you have any final thoughts, Audra, before we ran out of time?
No, I really appreciate you coming on, though. This was fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah,
it was a blast. Thank you, guys.
I'll see you in the fall. I'm hoping to get to that fall source cons, and we might get to see you there.
You both got to be there. We can hang out. So. And we can send videos on Facebook together.
Yeah.
I'm so sending you a Facebook video.
I'm not opening it. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I look forward to getting back to the SourceCon, and it's going to be 10 years. That's the 10-year anniversary of SourceCon in Austin. So if I didn't feel old already, then I totally feel older, oldish, something along those lines. But thank you guys so much. It was a blast and great conversation.
Before you leave, though, let people know on where they can, your website and your Twitter.
No, you see, I made a decision during this conversation, like I'm going to go completely underground. Like I don't want people in my business and all that. No, my
personal and professional, right?
Yeah, my website's thecandidategenerator.com. I'm the Candidate Generator on Facebook. Twitter. I'm the Candidate Gen on Twitter. So, and that name stuck with me. It was back in the day where we used to give each other names when we were trying to be really cool, and so that one kind of just stuck over the years. It's a little embarrassing, but I'm the Candidate Generator. If you Google me, you'll find me. So.
That's quite funny, though.
Yeah. The tattoo wasn't as funny, but I'm just kidding.
Oh, well, that's right. We're off. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much again, Todd.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, thank you.